Biden sources suspect key aide may have abused Autopen as Trump's. Washington. A key aide to former President Joe Biden may have exceeded their authority by liberally using an Autopen to sign official documents, according to two former White House sources, as President Trump's aides set up far more restrictive rules governing the use of the mechanical device. A document obtained by the Post outlines the narrow set of circumstances in which Trump's signature can be affixed to documents, following controversy this week kicked off by a Heritage Foundation analysis of Biden's signatures on various records, including last-minute pardons. A small group of officials under both Biden and Trump have been delegated the power to get documents signed robotically, but 82-year-old Biden's perceived cognitive decline sparked debate about whether some aides may have assumed his wishes in his final stretch as commander-in-chief. One Biden White House source told the Post they suspect that a key aide to the then-president may have made unilateral determinations on what to auto-sign. The Post is not publishing that staffer's name due to the lack of concrete evidence and refutations by other colleagues. The Biden aide, who did not respond to requests for comment, would frequently make mention of what the boss wanted, the source said, but compatriots would have no idea if it was true because the internal culture was to not ask questions. I feared no one as much as I feared that staffer. To me, the staffer basically was the president, the person said. No one ever questioned the staffer, period. Everyone was suspicious of this individual exceeding their authority when claiming to speak for the president, the source said, but no one would actually say it. I think the aide was using the Autopen as standard and past protocol, the Post's informant said. There is no clarity on who actually approved what. POTUS or the aide. A second Biden White House source agreed. Far more restrictive rules under Trump. An internal memo drafted Thursday by Trump Staff Secretary William Schaaf, who for the past 2 months has publicly described and presented documents to Trump for his signature in the Oval Office, lays out the restrictive current use of the Autopen. We have gone significantly further than the need for express approval, both in this administration and in the first Trump administration, Schaaf wrote. Our practice around Autopen usage is far more restrictive than most previous administrations. We do not use the Autopen for documents that exercise the powers of the presidency. So, for example, we do not use the Autopen for executive orders, presidential memoranda, decision memoranda, nominations, appointment orders, or commissions, or bills to be signed, he wrote. We do not use the Autopen even for more routine purposes, such as the invitation of foreign leaders to the White House. The president personally signs all of these, in the presence of witnesses. We will occasionally use the Autopen when a single document requires multiple presidential signatures, or when multiple copies of a single document require signing, but only after the president has personally signed off and only at his direction. A memo dated Jan. 28 and also reviewed by the Post grants Schaaf and White House Chief of Staff Susie Wiles the authority to use the Autopen for all matters. Schaaf's deputy and the president's executive clerk are allowed to make the call at Schaaf's direction. The White House Director of Correspondence, who manages lower-stakes public communications such as congratulatory messages to Americans on significant life milestones such as birthdays, is also allowed to use the Autopen for standardized policy materials after clearance by Schaaf, and for presidential messages in accordance with specific direction. According to the January memo, Autopens have been used by presidents since Lyndon Johnson in the 1960s, most notably F. Weird stuff, the Autopen, housed in the Eisenhower Executive Office building next door to the White House, hasn't been used only for weighty documents, such as pardons issued to former Rep. Liz Cheney, Republican Wyoming, and Dr. Anthony Fauci in the closing days of Biden's term. In fact, the pen has been used by White House staff to ink everything from kitchen utensils to sports memorabilia. We would get weird historical stuff, like people had collected every president's signature on the weirdest objects and needed the newest one, a Biden White House aide told the Post. Think about Nixon signing some spatula decades ago and then some guy starts collecting every president's signature. If someone wanted to get an exotic exotic item signed, they would either mail it to the White House or hand it off in person at an event with the president's staff. They'd visit and come for some events and pass it off to someone and would get it screened and logged, and then they give it to Outer Oval, the person recalled. Documents such as annual Heritage Month declarations, meanwhile, frequently got the auto signature, and, if it happened last year, we know that we would automatically do it again, so there wasn't an approval process.